Sure. Okay. So you can also switch off your camera. I can also switch off because otherwise sometimes there's a lag. Means what I speak, you can hear it at a latter part, and this is due to the this is the time where North America and India they start calling long distance and so on and so forth. So there are lots of lags in terms of that's why we normally have the trainings early Indian morning, late your night. There are calls, but that's okay. It's a you have either on challenges there, so no worries. Okay. So I'll also switch off my camera. You can also switch off your camera. This is just to understand whom I'm speaking to, see the face, and then we can. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sure. No problem. So let's start with the overall agenda and trying to understand what you're going to learn. So we'll first understand what is security. So what are we going to learn in security? Why not? What are the things? What's the need to be secured in terms of any corporation asset? Let's say you are working with or you have your own corporations. Let's say you manufacture pen. Easy enough. You can understand, right? If you have opened a company to manufacture a pen. So let's say to have a secure business. So whatever you produce, whatever you collect your raw materials and so on and so forth, you'll have a secure place, right? And that's what we call physical security. So once you have a secure place, you might have a good compound, or you might procure a place or shared business place where they have 24/7 security guards, surveillance, and so on and so forth. You must have seen this in your life, right? Wherever you're going to work or wherever you worked, they have surveillance, they have security guards at the door. They check who is going in, who is going out, what he or she is carrying, and so on and so forth. So this is what we talk about physical security. Now, when you manufacture a pen, right, there are some designs. There are some, ideas, like I have a blue pen, I have a red pen. In the next, month, I might start with a green pen, pink pen, and so on and so forth, depending upon the need of the market. Or wherever you are, we are trying to market these things. We are trying to build this idea to grow our business. Now, these are ideas. And ideas, we normally write it on a paper, keep it in our mobile, make it somewhere where it shouldn't be stolen by anybody else. And these are called what we can say logical things, which are normally we can't touch. These are called intangible things. Intangible means which you can touch, like your ideas, your drawings. Even you can touch the pen and paper. The idea which you have drawn there is basically the knowledge we are talking about here, right? So that's kind of logical thing. So security, we talk about securing the physical as well as logical asset. Tangible is physical, whatever you can touch. Intangible is basically logical, which you can't touch. Could you understand these mumbo jumbos? The physical and logical differences?
Hello. So if I can tell you the difference?
Please.
Okay, the tangible, that's the same. That's something you can touch, like a cell phone, like a keyboard. Intangible, that's something that you cannot touch. You can see with your eyes, just like I'm looking at your picture, but I cannot touch it. I'm looking at the message, but I cannot move it with my finger. That's on the other side of the screen.
Sounds really good. Then we have cybersecurity framework. So how do you secure these things? So these, plans, these strategies we build are called frameworks. It's a bloated name given by IT people. IT people have these habits, right? They give these really good names. So framework is one of them. Frameworks are basically a kind of set of rules, set of strategies we build to achieve this cybersecurity. Now we are calling cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is basically all these documents which are intangible, available on the net, cloud, computer, and blah, blah thing, something like software, data. These are all intangible or logical assets, right? Assets in the sense, whatever you procure, whatever you can own. You can own a software, right? Whenever you purchase a laptop, you purchase Windows license, or you purchase Mac license, or whatever it may be. So these software's license are intangible. Means licenses are physical, but the actual software is intangible. It's in your computer. You can use it like Microsoft Word. Okay, so these are what you can say. We call it them in a cyberspace. So cyberspace is basically whatever in terms of data, computer, cloud, and all those relevant spaces. What we call cyberspace. So cybersecurity is basically trying to address the intangible assets which are normally built by programming or digital conversion and so on and so forth. We'll have a look at different cybersecurity assets in further videos and further presentations. But could you understand cybersecurity? If I may ask, what is cybersecurity? What can you say? Means what? How do you answer? What is cybersecurity?
Well, cybersecurity, this is, I would say it's a place where you secure your password, where you secure your computer, where hacker cannot get access to it, or how can I say? It's like a protection of
Asset, digital asset.
yes, physical asset.
Asset
Yes,
is the word.
protection of
Digital asset
physical
means,
asset.
yeah. Digital assets in the sense the data, the software, and the relevant, let's say you purchased a game online, right? Let's say you
Yes,
purchased a car racing game. So that racing game is a logical asset. You purchased online, you might pay them, $100, $150, whatever it may be. And you might use that game for a year. So it's like $150 is a licensing fee for that car game. You can relate to the reality, right?
yes.
So you're securing those logical assets. You can't touch that game, but it's downloaded in your laptop, computer, desktop, and you can play. Easy enough
Hmm.
to understand?
Yes, it's easy to understand.
Yeah. So these are what we are going to secure. We'll look at framework in the sense strategy, rules, how we can secure them one way or the others. Okay. Then for this, our government, state government, federal government, they build some sort of a law. They build some sort of a cyber fighting unit departments within themselves. So we might have a cyber police. We might have a department within police, what they can cyber security policing or cyber security police or cyber police in most of the cases. So this,
Yeah.
what are the units we build to make sure our cyberspace, our digital assets are secure. Okay.
Okay.
We'll learn about security operations center. Now, these are the terminology what we use in cybersecurity domain called security operations centers. So these security operations centers is responsible for giving you physical as well as logical security. You might have seen various, camera rooms, right? They have so many monitors and there are 3, 4 people who are watching these cameras live feed 24 by 7. Have you seen such a surveillance center?
Yes.
Okay, now this is comes under SOC. SOC is a normal word which is used in cybersecurity, be it a police unit, be it a private company unit, or so on and so forth. So if you go to any organizations here, any institutions, they have a department called SOC. So cybersecurity departments are normally called security operations centers, which can basically include physical as well as logical security. Physical security is basically you don't have to spend that much, and we'll see why not. But logical security, you need to really spend a good amount of money. The operations are not as cheap as the normal physical security. Physical security will also study what all how physical security is applied, and then we'll see how logical security is applied on the ground. We will create a policy called security policy, which includes physical as well as logical. Logical is our cyber security, physical is our physical security policy, which comes under SOC. And now we normally work remotely. So most of the software company or a cyber security, penetration tester, cyber security auditors, they work remotely. So let's say if you're working with a company in St. Louis, you're working at a remote location. So you might be in Miami, Florida, and you're trying to basically do a cyber security audit of a company or an office physically based out at St. Louis. And this is normally happens because we normally work on digital asset, and digital asset can be transferred very easily, can be accessed remotely most of the time. So this kind of blessing, you don't have to travel 6, 7 hours, means like 1.5 hour flight and couple of hours by airport transit and blah blah things. So remote working is a blessing. but it's a threat because then all your digital assets are available remotely to quite a few guys throughout the world. So there are some
Right.
bad guys, they can also try to steal them. They try to get a control of these assets. So that's why remote working is a blessing as well as threat. And we'll have a look at both of these angles whenever we go deep into how to prevent such security blessing, security lacunas, and so on. So, okay, and then we'll try to understand what are the current measures your organizations where you're working do have, and how you're going to be a part of it. You normally will join as a team. You can be a penetration tester, you can be a cybersecurity auditor, you can be a cybersecurity analyst. These are the three entry-level positions. There might be an assistant, before this role, assistant cybersecurity auditor, assistant cyber penetration tester, that is assistant cybersecurity analysts. Again, depending upon the organizational policies and procedures, they give these roles to a new enthusiast in cybersecurity. Okay, so we'll
Yes.
have a look at those, like how cybersecurity operations to be formed, how are these hierarchy in the SOC centers, and how we basically participants' opinion on security. Participants in the sense, whenever you join a company, let's say you join something like Cisco. Cisco is one of the what you can say largest security solution provider across the globe, even in North America and other countries as well. You heard of Cisco, right?
Yes,
They
I have.
modem, routers, and blah blah things. So this
Mhm.
is the company, they give you cybersecurity solutions also, and we'll basically see what are the cybersecurity solutions and how we can be a part of it. And when I told you, like, there's no regular certification for any organization. So the company who have cybersecurity routers, they might go ahead with the Cisco certification. Cisco have certifications also. So you can do their certification if you know your company has Cisco solutions. But if your company have other solutions, and there are 20, 25 such solutions, we're going to go through it. We'll try to install, we'll try to run, and so on and so forth. So we'll learn those solutions by our working on with it, how they work, how we can basically get along with it, and we'll basically have a hands-on workshop on that. So don't worry on that part as well. So we'll see how we can be an employer, how we can be how we can be an employee for a given company as a security analyst, penetration tester, or cyber security auditor. Okay,
Okay.
these 5 6 points are clear. Any doubt on these?
No.
Okay, I'll move to the next slide.
Okay.
Uh, come on. Okay, now we'll try to understand what do you mean by vulnerability in terms of cyber security. What do you mean by threat, and what are the risks? And these three basically uh, constitute a similar group of what you can say wrongdoers in terms of threats on the cyber security digital assets specifically. Okay,
Hmm.
so you heard word vulnerability, threat, and risk before.
Yes.
Okay, so but in plain simple English, what is vulnerability, what is threat, and what is risk, right? And then,
Yes.
yeah, there's a new and we'll basically spend a couple of sessions on these also. Cognitive cybersecurity. If you heard, like in Windows 11, Microsoft included some anti-spamware, antivirus, scanners, and such services included in Windows 11. Have you heard these?
No, not really.
Okay, no problem. Microsoft says if you go to the Microsoft site and the product page of Windows 11, they've mentioned there like this Windows version includes virus scanners, security protections.
Oh yeah, yeah, I heard that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the new thing, and this is what they call cognitive cybersecurity. Now, all these operating system, including the Mac, whatever system you are using, Windows, Linux, be it a Red Hat, be it Ubuntu and blah blah things, these have inbuilt cognitive cybersecurity. What do you mean by cognitive? They learn these virus pattern or threat patterns progressively. So they download these security patches, as they call it, security patches from their main server. Like for Microsoft, you can download these things from Microsoft server. For Linux, wherever those main servers are, they'll distribute these patches to your operating system, whatever you procure. And this is a new way of Microsoft saying, please purchase legal Windows, because in a good part of the world, they still use unlicensed Windows versions. So that's why it's a kind of, new strategy these new operating system vendors have adopted to. And this is what they call cognitive cybersecurity. Cognitive in the sense the machine is learning on its own and trying to prevent new attack automatically. So that's what they call cognitive. Now, cryptography is where we apply this cryptography, or what can say encryption, in whenever we want to secure our database, secure the storage in terms of various data elements. And we'll learn about cryptography also. We'll learn about how these credit cards are encrypted. What do you mean by triple desk? What do you mean by two-level security? What do you mean by SSL, and so on and so forth. So we'll classify this cryptography or encryption. There is RSO cryptography, stenography, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll have a look at various attacks. Denial of service, they call it DOS attack, SQL attack, okay, and so on and so forth. So these type of attacks. So we'll understand what are the threats. We'll understand how do you secure asset in terms of data security, in terms of communication security. So if you want to send an email from let's say Miami to St. Louis, so what type of encryption do you have? Do you have SSL? Do you have a 128-bit encryptions? Or if you're swiping a card at a nook and corner store, is my card is secure, or this or are they stealing my card data, right? Because this is what happens when you basically swipe your card at some shady place. They basically store your card number, and then basically they can use their card at their leisure, which is wrong thing, because it's your card, your personal digital asset, right? And that's how you're going to understand how this security works, and so on and so forth, right? So then we'll have a look at various attacks as well. As you mentioned, password attacks, types, how do you secure your password, network attacks, motives behind. Then we'll have a look at motives behind cybercrime, where we'll try to understand what are the major history in terms of attack on a, let's say, Bank of America, attack on Citibank card, attack on various data storage, like the ABC company. It's a Google's parent company called ABC Corporation. So there was a big cyber attack around 8 months back. They tried to steal data in in the volume of around 600 gigabytes or something like that. The storage was smaller. 600 gigabyte is smaller. Believe me, I will discuss about how this volume storage work as well. So please don't worry on that part. But the criticality is quite higher. And that's why we need to understand that case. We'll basically, I can discuss the case study with you also. So you can, have a legal proceeding downloaded to your desktop or laptop and have a look at them also. So that even working as a cybersecurity criminal lawyer is a high paying job. Means I think that's also, those doors also open to you. Am I right saying that, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll look at even that angle also. And believe me, wherever you join, you can be a part of legal team where you get paid really well. Means I just looking through the salaries provided to various roles. Have let me share the details with you. For a cybersecurity analyst, the salary start from 60K, 80K, 90K. Again, depending upon company roles and all those things. For an auditor, same thing, 70 to 100K. For a penetration tester, anything beyond 70K and above. But when it comes to cybersecurity lawyers, and these are employed by quite a good amount of IT firms nowadays, their salaries start from 110, 120K and so on and so forth. So your experience also can be leveraged within this, and you can get really good amount of what I can say income in the next few months or so. Okay, and we'll understand what were the motives. We'll study the history of cybercrime. Basically, means we'll study from the big cases in the last 5 years or so. Okay, I have those slides. You don't worry. Then why cybersecurity? Why want you do cybersecurity? Why you want to achieve cybersecurity? What type of ramifications? What type of revenue losses are there in terms of cybersecurity? We'll study those as well. Then uh, what type of cyber web applications, product services, or attack prevention we can apply for our own as an individual, for an organization as well. Okay, and how do you track or tackle cyber crime? What type of associate teams handles this type of penetrations, this type of attacks hitting you on day in day out? And this is how you basically trying to understand how can I make an organization secure, be it a paint manufacturing company, be it a IT company like Microsoft, Cisco, and so on. So. And then what are the roles? Means these are all starter role, as I told you, auditor, analyst, penetration tester, manager, a bit senior role, and so on. So we'll try to understand the hierarchy as well. Any questions on this slide?
No.
Okay, let me continue. Now let's try to understand what are the threats. These words are important because in interview, these words really play an important part in terms of they might ask you, what do you mean by password attack? What do you mean by phishing is the most, what I can say, common question. So they might ask you, what do you mean by phishing? So we'll understand that as well. Okay. And we will repeat these things throughout our presentation. So don't worry if you miss anything. By the end of 1.5 months, you will understand, or you'll basically understand this terminology by heart. Okay, today we'll just have a review. What do you mean by, let's say, malware? So malware is a kind of software chunks comes to you mostly via some product you download. Let's say somebody sent you a link on your mobile saying, hey, this is a new banking application update, please download. Say you are a customer of Bank of America and you downloaded that patch with the attachment to your Bank of America mobile application. Okay, now that comes with a kind of keystroke tracking or screen recorder or something like that. And these keystroke tracker uploads the data to the hacker's device. So he might be sitting with a laptop at some place else, let's say Los Angeles, and whenever you try to log into your Bank of America account, he'll grab the username, he'll grab the overall screenshot, he'll try to record the keystroke also as well. And this thing happens in real time. So whenever you logged off, that guy tried to log in. You might not get your OTP, and that's why banks started giving you OTPs, one-time password, or it's a kind of third level encryption whenever you try to log into your bank. We'll come to the level of encryption and why it's a third level and so on and so forth. I'll guide you on that. But malware is basically an attack which normally get attacked with a software ported to your device, be it a laptop, desktop, mobile, and via that software, the wrongdoer try to capture screens, try to capture your keystrokes and so on and so forth, and post this thing to the wrongdoer. Means get those things. The data retrieval is also one of the part of the malware sending. And this can be an email also coming to you, but email them most probably call it phishing. So there could be an overlap in phishing as well as malware. For malware, the basic intention is basically send a fishy software to you one way or the other and try to grab the access to your critical asset. It can be a database access grabber, it can be a credit card grabber, it can be a bank account information grabber, and so on. So again, this is a kind of part of software. Then phishing. Phishing specifically done mostly by email or mal advertising. Phishing is basically an email comes to you, you won $3,000 lottery. For that, you might have to pay $50 to test your bank transaction. And you might have seen such emails in the past. And they start asking for money, $10, $15, $5, and so on and so forth. And by the time you spend around $500, then you get, basically get suspicious. Like, I'm spending the money where I should have got the money, right? And this is how the phishing works. Okay, we'll see the actual definitions also. But right now, just understand, because these terminology will come whenever we speak, whenever we communicate, right? So that's why I want to just give you an idea, right? Password attack. Somebody tried to steal your password. Nowadays, this has gone to very critical to minimal criticality, because every banking application or every critical applications have a kind of extra added security called OTP. So an OTP is a kind of a 4-digit pin, 6-digit pin, or an additional, captcha and something like that. So password attacks are basically have corrupt due to these new added security measures. Then denial of service. This used to happen a lot, but nowadays these are basically corrupt by really great infrastructure. Do not disturb. Denial of service is basically attack wherever you visit a website where it says too many users logged in, so you can't log into that application. But still, whenever you keyed in your username password, the website or the grabber used to grab your credentials at that time, and that's why they called do not disturb denial of service attacks. Okay, and nowadays they are also got quite lesser. Malware has been increased, phishing also increased, password attacks and DDoS or DOS reduced in a great, great volume as of now. Man in the middle is basically somebody trying to act in the middle between you and your critical assets. It can be database grab, database. Whenever you're trying to access some database, you might have an address book, right? Or you might have your friend list secure somewhere, and you try to access that. But some fellow is trying to act as a middleman, and he is taking your request, sending it to the database, taking your credential information, sending it to the database, and to and fro back, and making a copy of whatever you trying to receive in between. So it's a kind of communication tab when you say man in the middle. And these are avoidable now due to some encryption. So whatever you send to a server has been normally encrypted. Whatever you receive from the server has been encrypted at the both the end. So if there is any middleman who is trying to access these things, he is really not that harmful, or it's almost impossible to tap the communication in between nowadays.
Okay.
Drive-by downloads. You must have heard this terminology, right? Drive-by
Well,
down, you download fast. Somebody is standing on your shoulder saying, "Hey, this is a really good game. Why don't you download today? I'll give you a $5 discount. I give you $10 discount." And with that, they send you some malware. Now, these are the downloads which can be a movie, like you download some torrent movie, any latest movie you download from torrent, and then they send you advertisement. They send you a directory grabber. They grab the directory of your desktop laptop and send it to the hacker. And these things are also kind of malware, but these are normally come via download, so that's why they call it drive-by downloads. Malware advertising, same like phishing. With advertise, they say, "Hey, click me." There's a flashy button saying, "Please click me. You might get a $5 discount in your next dealing with Bank of America, or you might get a $10 discount with your next pizza order." And you might have seen this thing. They take you to a different site, and we'll basically try to understand how we can basically curb this thing, how we can stop this malware advertising phishing as well. We'll discuss this thing in the detail. Basically, this is how we make ourselves secure, make the whole thing secure, frankly speaking. Okay, and then we have rogue software. Rogue software is like you download something from some fishy place, a torrent place. Torrent is basically, have you used torrent by any chance?
no.
Okay, torrent is basically wherever you download a movie. Nowadays it's reduced up to a great extent, but in good old days, let's say 5 years or 6 years prior, I used to download latest movie from the torrent. These are called pirated movies. So you basically watch that movie, not very high resolution thing, but still you can watch the movie, because there are quite a good amount of guys who want to watch the movies, right? So they go to torrent or fishy site, and they download even software. Software like CorelDRAW, software like MS Office, I want to use, let's say, Corel Draw. It's a, what you can say, design software. You can design various images or digital assets via in a Corel Draw. And this is a PageMaker, and there are Adobe Photoshop and so on and so forth. So they are available there. And whenever you download that software, it comes with a malware. And this malware try to infect your computer. It comes with something like Trojan horse. Trojan horse is a type of virus which basically embedded in an application or a movie or something like that. So these are the terminology which we'll use quite effectively, and we'll have a look at their actual definition also. Okay. Any confusion, so on and so forth?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, any difficulties in understanding this terminology?
No, I understand them. What
Yeah.
was the DDoS stand for again?
Denial of service. DDoS. Okay. Let me check out. Oh, come on. Give me a minute. DDoS, I might have to search on Google because,
Okay.
come on. Oh, sorry. How do you minimize this thing? Now this one. Okay. No, I can minimize. DDoS. Distributed denial of service. That's what
Okay.
it is. Distributed denial of service. How do you go to Zoom? Okay. Here. Could you see the presentation? No. Let me show. Could you see my Google?
No.
No. Okay. What are you seeing on your screen?
The cyber threat, the shot, the one you were just explaining.
Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Now, physical security and logical security. These are the different thing. Okay, how many? How much? Okay, it's like okay. This is a free version of Zoom. So this might get what you can say close after 45 minutes or so, right? So I'm just basically telling you in advance, and we'll log into another Zoom session. Okay. Same.
Okay.
So please don't worry on that part. Let's
All
try
right.
to understand what is physical and logical security. Here, what we are trying to understand, we've shared a basic idea of physical and logical security. This is really important to understand, and most of the cybersecurity enthusiasts ignore the physical security part of it. But it's a part and parcel of job. Whenever you're trying to be a security expert, you need to understand the physical as well as logical security, because this is a security in totality. You might concentrate on logical security because that's what we are going to learn in detail, but physical security you can't ignore. So let's say you have an organization and you have really great on logical security, so nobody can penetrate your system remotely, locally, in network, out network, and blah blah things. But if somebody steals your desktop, steals your laptop, steals your laptop, right? Let's say from
Mhm.
your car, from your house, what good it be to have all sort of logical security on that laptop. If that laptop got stolen, you lost your data, right?
Yes.
So that's why physical security is a need, and most of the cybersecurity enthusiasts miss that part of the thing. So please do remember, physical security is the protection of personal hardware, software, data in physical actions, events that could cause serious loss or damages to an enterprise, agency, institution. So this is like any damage, any physical damage has to be also protected. This includes protections from fire. Let's say your laptop got fire, or you spill a coffee on that, right? So your digital asset is being nowadays quite a good amount of laptops are spill proof, but still there are laptops, the older laptops. Basically, if you spill a coffee on that, and this thing do happen quite often than you might have, thought of. Believe me.
So if even though the computer, the laptop is still proof, but the keyboard from it, if it get on fire, it's not the steel is not gonna be warm up too much to burn whatever is inside the
Right.
device that's inside the laptop.
Very delicate. Yeah, these are all rubber switches, as we normally say. So rubber gets melted and the keyboard get useless. So you are going to pay at least for the keyboard, if not for the laptop. And there's the chips inside the laptops are